maturity do you think your group's showing, especially in that regard?
They keep showing it. I think that's the sign of growth in these close games. They're not getting rattled. They understand how we have to play coming down the stretch, getting stops first, and then being able to get out and run and execute our offense.
The last 5 games, I believe, have been close contests against teams contending someplace in the postseason. How valuable has it been to get that experience late in the season and have it all come right in a row?
Well, we've said it before, that's the only way that you're going to learn. You have to go through it. Regardless of the outcome of the game, you have to go through these situations. You have to go through down 2, down 3, up 4, whatever it looks like. We have to be able to show them on film so they can feel it real time. And I think they're getting that, and so it's showing in the way in which we're playing down the back end of these games.
You went with a double big lineup of Goga and Mo Wagner. With the second year, just what were you looking for from that group, and how do you think they did?
I thought they did really good. I thought they played well off of each other, mixing when one was rolling, one was popping. Again, part of that was just seeing how they played their games. They continued to keep 2 bigs on the floor, and I think Mo can do a good job when it came to guarding Randall. But I just really think they were working well off of one another, and they allowed those guards to play as well.
How much was it also just trying to counter their offensive rebounding advantage?
It was more because that's the way in which they play. I know he goes with 2 bigs often, so I thought that was a good matchup for us tonight, and that was an opportunity for both of those bigs to be on the floor.
Coach, that was pretty interesting. Throughout the season, Caleb's been spending some time over in the G League, spending some time with less minutes, and now you're trusting him with these late fourth quarter minutes. So what have you seen from him lately in these last few games that's giving him that value to be out there in those really important stretches?
Just his ability to be in the right place at the right time, defensively positioning, offensively just spacing the floor. He doesn't need the basketball, but then it's the other side that guys can find him, when he is there because he's not chasing it at all. So I think that his ability to stretch the floor helps out a ton.
Jamal, you touched on it earlier. There's so many different ways you guys have had to close out games here these past few weeks. This one was really shot making. Was able to get it done. When you have a young group like that is able to make big time shots within those last couple minutes, what does that do for you and for their confidence?
Well, we've said it to them time and time again, their ability to get tough stops down the stretch and make tough shots down the stretch. That's what it comes down to, but it's part of the execution, and then their willingness to trust each other in those moments to make the right play, the right pass, and whoever gets that basketball is willing to step in to knock the shot down.
Randall was a guy that had 57 the other night. Paolo primarily guarded him for most of the second half. What did you see out of him kind of rising to that occasion and being able to hold one of the better players to, I believe, 21?
Well, his willingness to take on those challenges. I think the other night we played Miami, he was willing to take on that challenge at the end of the game, guarding Jimmy Butler. I think it just shows growth that he's not afraid to step into those big moments and sit down and guard. He wants that responsibility, and his teammates are trusting him to take that responsibility on.
Coach, with under 10 to go, the light at the end of the tunnel is there. Do you see the guys putting together a snowball? Can this one win with the shot making and all that really get you going to get it going?
I think we just have to continue to take it one at a time, being consistent in how we play, and I think as we continue to put it together, I think that's the biggest key. So, the next game versus Brooklyn is going to be key. What do we do consistently? Obviously we got to make sure we continue to take care of the basketball like we have, defend the right way without fouling, but just being consistent in our effort and our energy.
Paolo hits that 3-pointer, a couple free throws there late to kind of clinch the win there. Just what does it say about him as a rookie, his first year in the league, to step up in those moments and to be able to make those shots?
Well, I really think it says a ton about the work he's put in, the work that our coaches have put in with him, and the guys willing to trust him on those pass outs. We've talked about it a ton, and he does a great job of putting the work in. But again, he's never been one to shy away from a big moment, and I think that's the important piece of staying in the moment, not letting a play prior to, impact out on being willing to step in and take a big shot.
We talked a little bit before the game about knowing how to weather the runs. Obviously, this is a game where there are a lot of pushes to move the lead out, and the Knicks really get back in. What does it say about this team's poise not only to close the game late, but to kind of take the heavy punch that the Knicks put on with the atmosphere being where it was as well, to withstand it and come out on top?
Well, I thought it was great because we talked at halftime. We talked about winning quarters. You win the first 2 quarters, and the tendency is to come out relaxed. And they made that great run in the 3rd quarter, like the last game, similar situation. So when you walk in that huddle and it's 75-75, you say, you know what, we have to win this 4th quarter. And these guys understood it because that's exactly what we did the other night. So now we just have to have better growth coming out in that 3rd, and know it's going to be a game of runs, but how do we continue to weather those storms?
Thank you, Coach Mosley.
Thank you, guys.
We'll be back with Paolo and